Bryan Gaiser is an investment advisor representative of Advisory Alpha LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All opinions expressed by Bryan Gaiser are solely his own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This recording is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Advisory Alpha LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance, coaching, and educational services offered through Gaiser Financial Group. Gaiser Financial Group is a separate and unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. While tax and legal services may be discussed in the general course of financial and investment planning, Advisory Alpha does not provide tax or legal services. Please consult with your tax or legal professional prior to making decisions related to these issues. This material is not endorsed or approved by the Social Security Office or any other government agency. An annuity is a long-term financial product designed largely for asset accumulation and retirement needs. All guarantees are backed by the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. All opinions expressed by externally cited sources are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. The case studies presented reflects the specific circumstances of one client and should not be considered a guarantee that another client or potential client may experience the same or certain level of results. This is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment recommendations or solicitation. Names have been changed to protect the anonymity of clients and are not testimonials in nature. Learn, grow, and take charge of your retirement. This is the Wealth Thru Wisdom podcast with financial advisor Bryan Gaiser, founder of Gaiser Financial Group.
Obviously, when people come to you, Bryan, they come to you because they have lots of questions. The ultimate question, of course, can I retire? When can I retire? Maybe the two ultimate questions. But there was this recent study done by Natixis found the top questions people are asking retirement planners right now. And in this survey, top questions were, number one, am I protected from a market downturn? 2, what do I need to do to outpace inflation? Obviously, inflation has become a huge conversation in the last several years. Number 3, am I going to meet my goals? And number 4, how do I preserve and pass on what I built? Are the top questions people are asking retirement planners right now. But the question for you, Mr. Financial Planner, here in Greensboro, when folks are coming to you in the Piedmont Triad, what questions are they asking? Or maybe more importantly, what questions are they not asking that you wish that they were?
You know, am I protected from a downturn? All of these things lead to will my money last the rest of my life?
Got it.
Am I positioned in a way, right, that my money will last the rest of my life? Everybody, number one fear in retirement, will I run out of money?
Yep.
What will happen if I run out of money? And that's a great question right now. You know, we see gold and silver has made a big rise back. And the reasons being, I can see us going back to true hard asset backed dollars in the future.
Okay.
And I don't think that's a bad thing, but it'll take a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I'll probably be long gone before it gets there as well. That way you just don't have a manipulation machine running deciding what money is valued at.
Okay.
Because if you go back to the early 70s. So the number one concern for folks, will I run out of money? Will my dollar be worth anything? I see that on a regular basis. But really what it boils down to is, hey, relative to all my income streams, this is the question you ought to ask. What will my income streams look like? I think that's got to be number one. What do all of my income streams look like? And do I have surplus income? And is that surplus $100, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000? Because I think the number one thing you can do in retirement, do I have the ability to continue to invest in myself? And if you do, and live the retirement I want to live, I think that's really the key.
Okay.
It's not a matter, okay, I make it, I can pay my bills, got a few $100 left over, but then inflation comes along slowly but surely, you know, death by 1,000 cuts. So you got to look at it from that standpoint. And I'm going to be harshly honest with you. I'm going to just tell you, just like I tell the folks that come in from week to week from the radio, and we get a lot of folks that come in from radio, and they sit down and we go over things and, you know, hey, you have 500 left at the end of the month. Is that really enough? And then when I show an inflation chart and they realize in about 8 years that 500, now they're in the negative each month. They haven't paid off their debt. What are you going to do, you know, for these expenses or those expenses or whatever it may be? Folks, the biggest scare is run out of money in retirement. My goal for when you come in is just to be straight honest with you. You retire now, here's how things are going to look in the future. If you retire with debt, here's how things are going to look in the future. Is that good or is that bad? And you got to determine, do you want to have to sell your home so you can survive? Those kind of things.
Right.
But 336-586-5861 is our number here at Gaiser Financial Group. I recommend you write that down. And more importantly, I recommend you call it. and we will sit down. We'll just have a conversation around what it takes to be successful in retirement. And then we'll take it from there to a standpoint. We'll apply it to you. Once you understand it, and then you'll understand why some of the decisions I think you should make, that's what makes you kind of sink your teeth in. That's what makes you excited about going, doing the right thing when it comes to your retirement. I had clients that came in about 8 years ago, and they were way off, and they wanted to retire in the next 3 years.
Okay.
The reason I mentioned that 8 years ago, because they didn't retire for 6 years after that meeting.
But they were being proactive, yeah.
They thought they were done they thought they'd be done in a couple of years.
Okay.
I said, nah. I said, what are you going to do about the pink elephant, healthcare, which was outrageously expensive and still is. Healthcare is such an expense. We've got to get that under control as a country. But until they do, you got to work with what you got.
Right.
And his healthcare would have been because he wasn't 65 yet. And so we had to get that both he and his wife past 65, and their health wasn't the greatest.
Okay.
Right. So our number one goal with them, I said, look, can you see any reality of you retiring when you can't have Medicare? And he just couldn't.
Got it.
Because he had so much debt and expenses. But we positioned them well. And after about 8 years, 8 years, they were able to retire. Not 6, but 7 or 8.
Okay.
And 7.5, let's just call it. And the reason I bring that up is that he's glad he didn't retire too soon. And he took a different look at his work. His work was working for him. He wasn't working for it.
Got it.
He had a different mindset. I said, let's focus on knocking out some big expenses, some big debt. And we did that once again. And then get yourself in a position. And the truth is, what they really did is, we really need to scale down from this 6,000 square foot home. And they sold it at the right time later on in life. And then that, because, you have your tax deduction, you got a $500,000 exclusion for a couple. So they literally were able to keep all the proceeds from that.
Nice.
All debt's gone.
Yeah.
They live where they really want to live. It's much easier to take care of. They have surplus income in retirement. They literally focus on investing in themselves while in retirement.
Yeah.
And actually, it's improved their health just because their mind is at ease.
Sure.
But, 2 people in a 6,000 square foot home, I get that. Let's get out of this. But some people, that's your thing. That doesn't make it a bad thing.
Yeah.
Folks, let's look at your big picture and figure out what's the best route. A lot of folks out there don't realize selling your home, your homestead where you live, your primary home, after 2 years, you get to keep $500,000 if you're a married couple, $250,000 of gains on that property from the time you bought it. Tax free. Don't have to put it back into a home. And there's just little things like that. They had no clue of that rule. And I said, just knowing that made all the difference.
Yeah.
And they could be, and they moved closer to their kids,
nice,
where the grandkids are.
Yeah.
And sometimes they wish they didn't do that. No, I'm just kidding. But they drop in too often for dinner. But, 336-586-5861. Everybody's situation is different. It's knowing all the different areas that you need to concern yourself with and make sure they're working for you so you have the retirement. So you're knocking out that bucket list. But right now, folks, if there's anything I could tell you, knock out that bucket list now. Do not wait. It's the worst thing you can do because we just don't know. You don't know what's coming down the pipe, and just be strong and don't get frustrated when you do get smacked every now and then. That's just the nature of life. You're going to get hit. If you're well prepared, you'll do well. I just I'm a big fan of Minnesota Vikings back in the day. I don't really watch football like I used to, but back in the day when Fran Tarkenton was around, I like to watch him.
Okay.
And he's in this line of work as well, right? I don't deal with him directly, but he said something that really blew my mind about a week ago. I watched a video and it was all NFL oriented, Georgia sports and whatnot. And he said, believe it or not, as much as I cared about my coach, he made a huge mistake. Those 3 years he lost Super Bowls. Bud Grant gave them the first week off, and then they just practiced the following week. He said, this is the most important game. We should have spent the night at the practice field every single night. And he says that right there, and he thought the world of that man. But he said that one thing, not being prepared, is why we failed at the Super Bowl. If you're not prepared when it comes to retirement, knowing where your money's coming from, knowing how your money's growing, you're going to lose your retirement Super Bowl. But when I heard him say that, and this is somebody that just spoke highly in the past of Bud Grant, and he still speaks highly of him, but he says that was the biggest mistake he ever made. He thought giving us a week off, get it out of our minds, come back, hit it hard, and then play the game, we would be better off. He says, no, we were nowhere near prepared as the other teams, and that's why we lost. He said we beat two of those teams during the season and then lose to them in the Super Bowl. And I said, wow, to hear that come from him made a whole lot of sense. You know, you got to be prepared. You got to just be on your game, and no matter what that game is. Folks, 336-586-5861. Let's line you up properly for retirement. Let's put you in a position. Let's put you in the catbird seat, as they say. The bottom line is you've got to prepare. You've got to understand what's available to you. And maybe you think you do. Might as well sit down and see if there's something you're missing and put yourself in the right position to have a very successful retirement. I'm right here in Greensboro, Dolly Madison Road, right off of Friendly Avenue near Guilford College. No cost, no obligation. We sit down and we talk about you and ideas. If I hear things, I want to plant seeds in your mind of ideas that you should take into consideration so you do have a successful retirement. It's being creative with your retirement, all your resources, not just your money, but all your resources and how different tax laws apply to you. 336-586-5861. Happy to sit down and give you an hour of my time, and I promise you I won't waste that hour of your time.
Thanks for listening to the Wealth Thru Wisdom podcast. To learn more, visit geiserfinancial.com. Bryan Gaiser is an investment advisor representative of Advisory Alpha LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All opinions expressed by Bryan Gaiser are solely his own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This recording is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Advisory Alpha LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance, coaching, and educational services offered through Gaiser Financial Group. Gaiser Financial Group is a separate and unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. While tax and legal services may be discussed in the general course of financial and investment planning, Advisory Alpha does not provide tax or legal services. Please consult with your tax or legal professional prior to making decisions related to these issues. This material is not endorsed or approved by the Social Security Office or any other government agency. An annuity is a long-term financial product designed largely for asset accumulation and retirement needs. All guarantees are backed by the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. All opinions expressed by externally cited sources are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. The case studies presented reflects the specific circumstances of one client and should not be considered a guarantee that another client or potential client may experience the same or certain level of results. This is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment recommendations or solicitation. Names have been changed to protect the anonymity of clients and are not testimonials in nature.